Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. As some of you guys already know, I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona for some work and pleasure. I'm actually here for a baseball tournament. So if anyone wants to see what I got going on behind the scenes, go to my Instagram at DNeals. In the meantime, I do apologize for my setup, but I'm going to try to make this as professional sounding as normal. We're going to discuss Ryan Fox. Now, of course, as you guys know, Ryan Fox is the guy who had the documents that Tasha and Caitlin found on the season premiere of Michelle's season of The Bachelorette. A lot of people have come to his defense, saying, "Hey, I make documents, I make lists when I go on vacation. I like to organize my thoughts in a different way." So some people have written in talking about neurodivergence. Now, I don't want to be an armchair psychologist, and I know that's not a healthy place to be, but we can at least talk about neurodivergent mindsets and see it as a different way of thinking, not necessarily a bad way. Did the producers make this out to be a bad thing? Yeah, of course. They made it out to seem like he had some big sinister plot. But his ex girlfriend confirmed, hey, he makes a lot of lists. He likes to be organized. This is his personality type. So neurodivergence is the term for when someone's brain processes, learns, and or behaves differently from what is considered typical. Now, as we all know, just a generation ago, if someone was sitting in class and they weren't focused or they were misbehaving, they were considered like a problem child. And what we're learning is that the brain just functions in different ways. Some people have different ways. Different, like you would consider the neurodivergent community, have different ways to process information, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a skill set. But the question becomes, on what is essentially a popularity contest, the Bachelor franchise, is this something that was used against him? Of course, but I guess like most things in life, it comes down to what the motivations are. What were his intentions? Was it to just rack up the screen time and become the next Bachelor? Or was it to prevent himself from looking like a fool? So he wanted to over prepare. We'll get into all of that. We'll share some thoughts from Jason Tartik, Blake Horstman, and some of your comments. And like I said, some comments from some people in the neurodivergent community. So we'll get into all that. Do me a favor, if you enjoy that I'm with you guys in a hotel room here in Scottsdale as opposed to being out by the pool, which I will be going to very shortly, leave a like or subscribe to this video. Tomorrow on Friday, I will have a longer version of a recap of the first episode of Bachelorette. I'll go way farther in depth into my Patreon channel. So go to patreon.com/Dave Neal if you want to listen or watch a longer kind of more podcast style conversation of how I think the episode night one went down. Of course, no spoilers moving forward. None of that. If there's ever any videos I make that have spoilers, you guys will know about it. All right, so let's get right in. And we'll start just with the visual here. Michelle's disappointed teacher energy is sending me. All right, so this is where it all went wrong for our buddy Ryan over here. And, Michelle, she had 30 great guys. So she says, you know what, I don't have the time to waste on whatever it is that's going on over here. But, here's Blake. So here's Blake. I'm going to play him. Again, I apologize. It's going to be kind of choppy, but the audio should be good. Working on getting that new computer. Just hang tight, folks. But here's Blake responding to the strategy notebook that Ryan has. And also Blake will share some inside information of the fact that they actually do get searched. Because I thought, probably like a lot of you guys, oh, there's no way they normally search these guys' bags. That's such a violation of privacy. And he says, no, they search them for drugs and other things. So this is totally plausible.
Started in paragraphs. Not wrong. JC did good, son. Where I was in the strategy booklet.
Not
All the way
there.
to the bottom. Passing was not staged. So obviously, Caitlin and Tasha definitely went in there knowing. I'm sure. I don't know this for sure, guys.
Pause the
But
background
knowing
music.
that they were going to find that or something bad. Because producers do look through all of our stuff, and if there's something we sign off on, I remember they looked through all of my suitcases. I remember opening it and it was just a disaster. So the producers do look through your stuff because of our rules. Things you can't take cocaine to get you through the long nights, So yeah, I'm guessing the producers found that and was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be good TV," and then they told you to go in there. So, and that's probably stage. This is fun entertainment. I'd rather have this. I'm not gonna talk about.
He goes, I'd rather have this than bleeping bleep. Blake is consistently one of the best Bachelor recappers from the alumni. I just wish, and I know he doesn't need to do this, but I wish it was higher production value because he's always doing it with the sound on in the background. All right, that's my own problem. But I really do love what he's doing over there. Here's Jason Tartik. Let's see what he has to say here. He made a TikTok regarding this all.
Yes, everything written out to a T, research on how to actually get more screen time, cast members.
Oh, I just lost it. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Bear with me. Very hard to run this program while I don't have all my gear. Let me try it one more time.
Yes, everything written out to a T, research on how to actually get more screen time, cast members. You should try to act like. How bizarre.
Gotta do that thing right there. All right, so clearly Jason was considered one of his goal people to emulate, of course. All right, let's keep the party going here. Ryan's friend's wife at home, when she sees he brought the notes with him, you don't bring the notes. Because a lot of people like myself said, oh my gosh, the sinister part of his notes was that it was like how to get more screen time. But then you realize if this is somebody's wife who's saying, all right, you're going to want to go on the show. You're going to want to make sure you get past night one. Here's how you get more screen time. Here's what you have to do to stand out. Here's what you have to do to, that would be totally fine if someone gave you that information. But obviously, a lot of times we get that information, we put it up in the old noggin. He got the information and, printed it out in a Google document. So this is some notes. I shared this already, but if you didn't catch the previous video, from some people that were on the show with him. So he was the Bachelor from Bachelor Live, which, by the way, you couldn't pay me to go to one of these things. I mean, literally, you could pay me enough, maybe a couple $1,000s and I'd go. But oh boy, this does not look like fun. Has anyone been? Is this a fun time? I was on Bachelor Live on stage with him, and he said he never saw one episode of The Bachelor. He was extremely rude. I remember him saying, "You guys are all shaking like leaves." I jokingly asked, "Hey, can I steal you for a second?" because we're all talking in an awkward circle, and he said flat out no. He clearly didn't understand. So, okay, yeah. He's definitely a different type of guy. So here's some footage of Ryan on Bachelor Live. I guess they do like a live version. It just looks terrible to me, guys. Oh no. No offense, Catherine. It's not you. So it's like a pageant fashion show, and
I can just tell you this too. So, well, he was everything he said was so contradictory because he was our Bachelor for Bachelor Live on stage in his city pre-COVID. So when Ben Higgins and I were on tour and hosting that show,
I remember this.
he was one of the Bachelors, and he was a fan. He would ask us questions like he knew all the ins and outs. He was very calculated on stage. When Ben and I found out he was on this season, we had like a good little chuckle. Ben's like, I can't. He's like, I can't. But yeah. So when he's like, I've only 2 hours of any of the show, and I don't know anything. It's like, just on your BS right now, sir.
It's also a lie because 2 seconds later he was like, yeah, I mean, like, I would watch and see like what she would like, and so I would write it down like. So did you watch the show or did you not watch the show? And I'm sure Michelle didn't just walk.
This is brutal. Anyway, so there they are. We got to fast forward to this. No offense, Tasha, but the Zoom, it's just the Zoom calls, because I understand when someone's talking, you go, yeah. When it's on a Zoom call, it's just my processors can't handle it. All right, so let's just go through here. This was just so these are just clips from the show.
I know how much this means to you, but you also get the first dance. Now, ladies, feel free to cut in.
So they do a first dance, guys. Oh my gosh! I would have, if I had a spoon, I'd be gouging my eyes out right now. What the heck? Go see some live theater. It's not like they're. I mean, it's wow. All right, so clips of him dancing. I mean, we already played that. That was Jason Tartik's TikTok. Let's just see. All right, so let's pause it there. All right, let's go back to some of the comments. So after that all came out, I got a kind message from someone on my Patreon, and I hope they're okay with me sharing this, but I left the names out here. But it puts a lot in perspective to the neurodivergent community. As someone who is neurodivergent and usually dates people who are neurodivergent, the Ryan situation screams neurodivergency to me. ADHD, autism, extreme type A, high anxiety, or something else like you mentioned seems like the missing context. It seriously irks me that what the show and X are focusing on is that the notes exist and that he documents everything, not the stuff about him being rude and full of himself, which seemed to be the breaking point for Michelle and should be the real focus. It honestly just feels really othering because it looks like coping mechanisms, masking some disability and over preparation, which is just super common with neurodivergency. And it was totally villainized by the producers, just like Hunter's disability. Noticeably different enough for them to exploit, but not clear enough for that it was related to a disability to get a lot of backlash for. I think you're doing a good job being fair about these situations and not falling into the producer's narrative. Seriously, I appreciate it every time. Well, thank you so much. And look, the conversation that we're having here, we're all, yes, on face value, you see a binder and you go, whoa, this is sinister. The motivation here, how yucky. When it probably is way more of a naive experience for Ryan. It's probably an experience where he goes, how do I properly not embarrass myself on national TV? And a lot of that pre-calculation that people face, it's like when you're going to your first dance in 9th grade and you want to learn how to dance. So you're like studying at home and you're doing this. Is that because you're pre-calculated? No, it's because you don't want to look like an idiot on the dance floor. Ryan didn't want to look like an idiot on the dance floor. My fiance's type A personality in some ways. I wouldn't say extreme type A, but when we go on vacation, she wants to know where we're going, what sites we're going to see. I think we balance each other out pretty well because I'm a kind of go at the will, let's find a new experience on the fly type of guy. So we'll do things that we check marks on her list. I wanted to go see this. I wanted to go do that. Okay, great. All right, cool. Well, I just saw this sign that has this cool thing. You want to go on the thing over there? Okay, cool. So we complement each other that way. In some cases, like this person who just wrote in, someone who's neurodivergent might want to be with somebody who's also got similar brainwaves and tendencies, and that could work out too. But like I said, for my relationship, I think my personality type stabilizes my fiance's in a way, and vice versa. I do things where I'm anxious about certain things, and she calms me down. But clearly, anxieties and other real world physical results come from the brain in the way the brain needs to organize life. Some people can be up in their head, like my head. You guys know this from watching my content. My head is just, there are things flying all around. I got Reddit threads and Dale's toenails, and I got so many things going on in here, and I spit it all out. And for some people, they can't watch my channel. It's like, too much. And other people say it's nice because it's like we'll go down a dirt road and then we'll find our way back onto the path. It's whatever it is, but it's something that's like, I'm not going to change the way I do things for anyone else. So he's type A to the extreme. To the extreme, he's type A. Rap song. To the extreme, he works a mic like a vandal, light up the stage, walks a jump like a channel. He makes notes. Google documents. Doesn't make him a bad person. Y'all just read this journal on his national. You just read his journal on national TV. So of course. So real quick, we'll just dive into this. I already mentioned what neurodivergence is. Formerly considered a problem or abnormal, scientists have come to understand that neurodivergence can have many benefits. With this shift, practitioners are no longer treating neurodivergence as an illness. Instead, they're viewing them as different methods of learning and processing information. This article defines neurodiversity. It's the idea that it's normal and acceptable for people to have brains that function differently from one another, rather than thinking there is something wrong or problematic when some people don't operate similarly to others. Neurodiversity embraces all differences. The concept of neurodiversity recognizes that both brain function and behavioral traits are simply indicators of how diverse the human population is. The idea of neurodiversity also seeks to frame these differences as ones that are not inherently bad or a problem. Instead, it treats them in a more neutral manner and also highlights the many different ways that neurodivergence can be beneficial. The term neurodiversity was first coined by sociologist Judy Singer, who is autistic, in 1997. So we could talk all day long about neurodiversity. Do your own research. Think about it. Talk about it. You might have kids. Imagine, a lot of people, I'm sure you guys will leave comments, grew up trying to be painted into a certain box and your brain just wasn't there. And it's like in a tribal society. Someone who's a highly sensitive person would be a benefit to the society because maybe they would hear something or have an intuition if there was a tribe that was coming in to town or if someone had sinister motivations. So having these different personality types helps out the greater tribe. But when it comes to the dance floor of Bachelor Nation, it just might not pass like the cool kid vibe. I'll just read someone's comments here. I think I remember him mentioning that he made a list about what he is looking for in a partner, and this spoke to me. After a bad breakup 11 years ago, I made a dream boy list in my phone where I listed all of my must-haves and non-negotiables. It was supposed to be 3 in each category, but let me tell you, the list got long. I used it to help guide me as I started dating again to make sure I didn't lose touch with the things that mattered most, and it worked. I'm happy to share that I was able to detail some of the elements from my list in my wedding speech 4 years later. Can confidently say that this grounding exercise was influential in finding the man of my dreams. I believe in self-actualizing. I believe in visualization. Visualization. I need to visualize how to speak. I believe in words having power and weight and energy. And when you can write things down and journal and have a positive mentality, that greater things will come to you. I believe in all of that. And I believe we shouldn't necessarily fault somebody for writing that down in his journal and taking notes from others on how to be the best version of himself on a TV show. I also believe Michelle should follow her gut and follow the other guys here. But let's remember, if we're ever thinking we're on the cool kid side of things, that we should kind of reevaluate everyone's intentions and what they're trying to bring to the table. And so far, the sniff test shows that Ryan, is working through his own sort of way that he navigates the world, and who are we to judge that? All right, folks, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, again, on Instagram at DNeals, and if you want Patreon content tomorrow, you can support me, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I'll quickly talk about my podcast that I did with Reality Steve and some more information on neurodivergency and other things that are going on after night 1 of Michelle's season of Bachelorette. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.